So, but application has a different stream. So that came in and downloaded onto our machine, and it was unpacked, and it was trying to run it, it failed. That is always you see that application dependencies. So there is an article which says either do all Win32 or either do all store applications initially, or only do store applications and do Office applications. And as soon as you are finished the ESP screen, please go ahead and do the Win32 applications. Don't put a dependency on it. Okay. And we don't know how far it is. Okay. But we can check the latest on whether they have fixed or they have found out some workarounds on that. Okay. So co-management settings. Do you think co-management requires a device to be joined to a domain?
Yes.
Who else is saying yes? Who else think it is yes?
Yes, I as well.
Yeah, I think
Why?
that's why the co-management come in picture.
Okay, so what is co-management? Who can answer?
Presence of both the client, like Intune management extension and configuration manager.
Management client, right? It's CCM client. So for
Yeah,
CCM client, why does the device require to be joined to a domain? So you can perfectly work, a device can be perfectly managed by SCCM as long as you install SCCM client on it, correct? If you install a client on it and you tell the client that this is my management point, this is my so-and-so distribution point, this is my primary site, all of that information you give it to a client, it will communicate to the server. Why does it require a client?
but
Sorry, why does it require to
co-management
AD?
is something we want the presence of IME as well, no?
No, I'm not talking about co-management. My question is, for co-management or for SCCM management, do you require the device to be joined to AD?
Yeah, for Intune management extension, it is necessary that there should be an Intune enrollment. And for and if it is Intune enrollment, obviously the device is managed. So if it is if it is managed, then obviously it is a joint. And like basically, if one part is going for the it is stating that the device needs to be joined, then for the like as a holistic approach, if we say like for the co-management to work, then it there is a need, right? Something like that.
So Raj, answer your question. We have one device which is not a domain join, but what we did, we installed the SCCM client on it, okay, and we created a boundaries because it's in a different network. So we are able to deploy the applications and we can manage that device without even
It's
domain join.
correct, right? So the answer is you don't require the device to be domain joined or hybrid joined or so and so joined for both Intune and SCCM. Yesterday I told you, right? For Intune, you require just an enrollment. You can enroll it in many ways, whether it is joined or it doesn't care. The same thing goes with SCCM. There are so many servers that are not joined to domain, but that's still managed by SCCM today. Why? Because the SCCM client that you have installed, you tell the client, basically you pass these parameters. As you can see in my thing, I say CCM setup CMD, CCM hostname. I tell my hostname of my SCCM server as this. Okay, and this is my proxy, and this is my site code. Okay, so I'll tell my client, go and talk. There is this, it's simple client server communication model, right? I need to tell my client where is my server, then it keeps communicating between them. Why? What has to do with whether my device is joined to AD or no, right? The common interview question, 90% of the time people fail it. Okay, so but anyways, so same thing goes to Intune also. I can pick up a device, enroll it. Okay, it is completely managed. Same thing. If I give you a SCM client, and while installing the client, if I give you in the command prompt, or after installing, if I go and change some registry values that is pointing to your company's SCM server, finished. It is managed. Okay, you can do everything that you want. So in this same case, which says Windows Autopilot with co-management, the state is still Azure AD joined, because for Autopilot we require Azure AD joined, right? So it's Azure AD, it's Intune enrolled, and now it is co-managed, which is SCM managed. The device is still not domain joined. You don't require the domain joined. And for that, we only need to push an SCM client, which is already being pushed from here. See, automatically installed SCM manager client, and that command line arguments, this is what I am giving it. That I can directly do from Intune. Okay, and that is where it installs. And now this device will now become Intune also managed and also SCM managed. Okay, and this is for those customers who still wants SCM management, but who don't want the device to be joined to domain. Okay, still any questions on that? Is it clear? Or you don't want to remove your belief that you require the device to be domain joined for SCM managed?
Raj, actually, I just wanted a little bit clarification on if you are saying domain join, so what is that? Like it is Azure AD join or hybrid or how?
Doesn't matter. All domain joins doesn't require any management. Both are independent is what I'm saying.
So if you say like device is enrolled with Intune, so you mean to say that it will not create any kind of like Azure AD join in when it gets
See, I'm
enrolled in
using
Intune?
Autopilot, it is joining. Okay. But I
Okay.
can still not use Autopilot and still be Intune managed. I can take a Intune company portal or go to settings and enroll my device. It will only register, it will never join.
Sorry, I forgot that. So basically, when we enroll with Intune, so it just registers it, don't join it.
Yes. Same
Yeah,
thing
sorry.
goes to SCCM also. SCCM, see, forget SCCM. How about Ivanti? How about your McAfee client? Does it require a device to be joined? It is still doing so many of the security things, right?
Yeah, for that, I think so. Pushing a client is sufficient.
Right? Same thing. Yeah. So that is clear means that's fine. So always keep in mind both are independent. Okay. The only advantage that you get is because I'm using Autopilot, it is automatically joined to Azure AD. There, because you are joining the device to domain, you are getting some of the application, some of the policies, some of the group policies, and then your device now goes to a domain, and you can start now discovering the devices that are your domain. And then once they are discovered, you can create boundary groups and then create some device collection based on some device rules. That is the only requirement of your domain controller. Other than that, SCCM in itself doesn't require the device to be joined to a domain. Okay. So let's just go to further steps. Let me see if I have anything. One second. Okay. So just give me a minute. Any questions that I can take? So this was a very, very high level flow. Okay. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper once we have that client properly set up. Okay. I think I have to increase my RAM on that machine. It's very slow. So then I wanted to shut it down.
In the meantime, if it's fine, like can you just differentiate between the OMA DM and that Intune management extension?
Okay. See, OMA DM client is an inbuilt client. It is your MDM client. Okay. It is not Intune client. Okay. If you use AirWatch, if you use Mobile Iron or any other MDM tool, it is still still your client. It is a common client for all of your MDM solutions, right? It is your MDM interpreter. Okay.
Hmm.
So that is the default mobile device management client. The IME is an Intune management extension. Okay. So let me share my screen.
So is this OMADM same like that that is basically helping us with the OMA URI setting?
Yes, everything in Intune, everything apart from application deployment, I mean the Win32 and PowerShell application deployment is handled by OMA DM client.
Because OMA URI is something basically we are dealing the settings at the device level, right?
No, see, OMA DMI, OMA URI is it's a sync ML. See, the thing is you're actually constructing an XML as a XML file, right?
Yeah.
So that XML file comes to your device. Okay. So there is I'll talk about when I'm talking about CSP. Okay. So what
Okay.
is happening is there is something called configuration service providers within
Yeah.
your Windows operating system. So as long as those CSPs, you can talk to the CSP and CSP will go ahead and write to your registries. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever CSPs are available, those are the only things that you can do with your OMA DM client, and hence only the things only you can do with your Intune Intune policies. Okay, some can be generated every time that you see a UI. There is a graphical user interface, but if you take a trace or if you go to your F12 and check your network connection, it is a simple XML file that it generates and then it deploys to your client machine. Okay, it encrypts, it goes to the service and then it encrypts and then comes to your device. So once it comes to the device, as I said, the DM client will interpret and talk to CSP. If it requires to talk to your CSP, respective CSP, like the BitLocker CSP or firewall CSP, it will talk and change. Okay. So that is how it is. But anyways, others will get confused. But I'll start from basics. The other next week, we'll see
Yeah, sure.
how.
Yeah, I got somewhat. Thank you.
Okay. So this is a problem with 2 hours classes. Okay. So or a weekdays classes. Again, yeah, you will find a break of 5 days. I don't know how do you all come back with some refreshing. How long you all can extend now? It's 5 o'clock. Can you all stay with till 5:30 or something? Who all? Who cannot?
I can.
Yeah, I can as well.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll talk about this one, the same hybrid. Sorry, not hybrid. Someone had not hybrid. What do you say? User self-provisioning. Okay. But next time, I'm only covering all of the log files at every stage that you can troubleshoot. There are multiple ways. Okay. So you can go till trace, you can go till ETL, you can go to Fiddler. Okay. All levels of things you can troubleshoot. But for you all, it's not required. Okay. But someone requires to go to that level. I think me and my colleague have prepared a small document and a PPT on how to do it. We'll share it to you. You can do it. But you as a regular Intune admin or Intune consultant or Intune architect, we only need to do something to some extent. So this is what I'll cover. Okay. So I'll share it. You can take your own time because see, to learn Fiddler is again a different thing. To learn network trace is again different thing. People might not know what is TCP/IP. Okay, they might not know what is OSI model. Okay, so I tried to attempt and tell everything, but it failed in my previous classes. So I'll only tell you all how much you can take the logs, which events you can finalize. And now now you have so many AI tools, you can just post that error and you will get the answers on why the issue is there. Now the information that you all need is where to find out, how to find out. That is very simple. Okay. The other thing is the flow is important. Okay. So sorry, 1 second. Let me. Because after white glove, okay. So hybrid, so let me show my screen, sorry. So what is hybrid, by the way? This is user-driven hybrid, okay? So the biggest difference is, you look at the challenge, okay? Right now, Autopilot is very simple. All it needed was an internet connection, okay? It did not require anything else, right? And as soon as I say hybrid, it requires now a domain controller connection, okay? How many in your organizations are doing hybrid AD join using Autopilot?
Yeah, I have that.
You all have that. Where are you provisioning the devices, in office or outside?
Basically, we just give that particular USB stick, and based on that, most of the
No,
things are done.
no, that is not Autopilot with hybrid AD join. You all doing Autopilot with hybrid AD join with proper
Yes.
object OD connector?
Yeah.
Okay, but USB
So
is
it just basically to I think so, just to
image
uh
of
yeah, just for the OS.
okay,
I think so.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is fine. Okay, that's yeah, that's the same. Yeah, that's all again on Autopilot. So yeah, in the same process, what we are doing is, if you look at that in this screen, okay, we have one additional component called as a domain controller. Okay, so what is happening here is, Intune during the MDM enrollment identifies that this device requires a hybrid AD join. Where do you see that? In the enrollment profile, we have an option to select, right? Azure AD join or hybrid AD join. Everyone has seen it, right?
Yeah.
So, and that is where it decides. If it is an Azure AD join, I'll just move on. But if it is an hybrid AD join, I need to go to a domain controller and ask, for this device ID, I also need an offline domain join blob. Okay, so this domain, actually there is a connector in between. Okay, so the offline domain join, there's an AAD connector. It'll, because it's a simple line here. Okay, but there is an AAD connector in between. That AAD connector has a power or a permission to create an object, a dummy device object here. Okay, so it's a placeholder kind of thing. Okay, so it's a blob, it's nothing, it's not actually a domain join, it's a blob. Okay, so offline domain join device is here, and this is now sent to this device here. Okay, that is the only addition that is happening here. Intune will go and tell the Azure AD connector to create a domain object blob and then send that object blob is like some box, okay, some content. Okay, send it to the device, so the device will have it. Okay, this technology is not Intune related or anything. Okay, it is there for nearly almost 15-20 years. Okay, it is a Windows related feature. Okay, a dummy blob is created based on and then this, once it has that blob here in this device, it receives it, right? It receives from the Intune, and then we have it. What is happening here is, it now goes on to the next step of complete Intune enrollment, Azure AD join, and everything. And while logging into the screen, when logging into the machine, it identifies, it uses that object, but I can just, instead of logging to the UPN, I can click on, it says in the screen, see, if it is an Azure AD join, you'll always see a screen saying that it is AD join, okay? And you'll not see anything. But if it's a domain join machine, as you know, right, in the just the bottom of the sign-in screen, you will say this, it is domain, the domain name will appear, right? So that is the difference here. Okay, so as soon as you see the domain name, we can assume that like this is now trying to join the device to domain, or it is partially joined, and that is where you enter your domain name / username, and then you move on. Okay, that is when it goes and talks to your Active Directory. Okay, this is a step here. Okay, it completes the join over corporate internet for corporate network, and that is where you follow, you receive all the group policies, and this is move on. This is hybrid AD join. Okay, it joined to Azure AD, and it also joined to Active Directory during the autopilot process. Okay, so this is how it appears. Okay, so when you look at the user experience, you click on yes, just like this is a Windows 10 machine. But anyways, so click on yes, you click on the language, right? And you enter your username and password. A lot of things are happening in the background. Okay, so now this is talking to Intune. Intune is sending a to AD, and then AD is sent a device blob to Intune. Intune sent the device back to here. Okay, and now everything has happened. Join the device, Intune enroll. You see the difference. Okay, it says sign into Intune hyphen in range. This is your domain. Okay, see, I'm not entering anything because it is already joined to domain. Correct. Now I'm only entering the username and password, or I can enter this domain / username and password. Okay, for a normal autopilot process which is joined to Azure AD, you don't see this line at all. Okay, so that is the only difference here. Now this device will complete the domain join process. Okay, and how about self-deploying? So what is self-deploying mode?
Normally, it will be used for chaos device, now where
Yeah.
there is not much interaction with from the user or something like that.
So what is expected here if it's a self-deploying mode? How does the enrollment look like? It's a userless device.
Userless. Yeah.
Userless device, so we don't need to enter any username and password. So what do we have to do? What is left if you don't have to enter username and password? Just connecting the device to internet, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think that's left. Let's see what's left. Okay. That's all, nothing else. It just said, welcome to the company. Let's set up your device for work. No interaction at all. Just connect to the internet if it's a Wi-Fi, or else just plug it to your LAN cable, corporate LAN cable. Now you see there is no user third information, no account setup, because there is no user. You only do two screens, device preparation, device setup. So you got it? What is kiosk mode and why do we do it? How do we do it? These are all these reception machines, feedback machines, right? So it's all in an office or in a cafeteria where people who need to check their pay slips, browse something, all these days, right? So there are so many organization use cases where there are kiosk devices need to set up. And this is a kiosk device with an example of browser being the default application. Okay, it logged in and it opened the browser along with the home page. No other apps will be opened. Nothing will be opened. Okay, you can do it. Okay, you can, based on the settings, you can run some admin commands and there are all the other options to do it. But at a user level, you can actually think that this is what is happening. Okay, in the kiosk mode, there is a policy on what needs to be added, what apps will do. We'll see all of that. Okay, but there is a configuration profile, and in that configuration profile, we can define the kiosk modes. Okay. Exactly. So this is what I was just saying. How about autopilot for existing devices? What do you mean by existing devices? Okay. So different kinds of existing devices, right? So one is, when I say existing devices, they're enrolled to Intune. Okay. And these are Windows 7 machine. Okay. So look at this project, which was done long back in 19 or 18. I did not do it. Someone did it. So they had this Windows 7 with an SCCM manager, SCCM operating system with a software center. And within the operating system was to migrate Windows 7 to Windows 10. So they clicked on install, right? So this is now unpacking all of that. Okay. Yeah. So shut down, and then WinP starts loading all the files, and then SCCM OSD takes over from there, applies the operating system, adds the drivers, installs, and then Autopilot starts. Okay, this is again the entire task sequence that they have created. So what next? So nowadays it's gone. Nowadays no one uses it. No one has Windows 7. So white glove. So what is white glove? So they renamed it as what is it? Preprovision.
Yes, preprovision.
Preprovision. Okay. So I need to pre-provision it. Okay. So that is how it was always there. Okay. Even after so much of efforts, people still liked, people have budget or they don't want to trouble the end users. They want to pre-provision it and then give it to the end users. So what is happening, if you look at this, you install everything that is related to the system, that is related to your organization, by just connecting your device to your network drive and connect it to the internet, okay, which is already connected, right? So you just, so these are the steps, okay? Take all the laptops, okay, put it in a room, connect everything to a corporate LAN cable, and then you just power it on and just leave it off. That's all you need to do. Just power it on, connect to the LAN cable. Those pre-provisioned are still the userless device that appear exactly the same thing that you see. Only thing you think, you need to click one or two continue buttons, okay? And after that, your device is joined to Azure AD. When I say joined to Azure AD is by your default user, okay? And then enrolls to Intune, downloads all of your applications that are targeted to all devices, okay? Specifically all devices, not a device group, because we don't know if these devices are in that group. Anything that is targeted to all devices will now be deployed to this machine. Okay. Firewall policies or anything, any configuration profiles, any applications, typically Office applications. So everything gets installed. I mean, the system based applications or the non-user based applications get installed. Only the user targeted applications and policies don't get installed. Okay. So there is a button called reseal. It means that you unbox the device, you're sealing it back. And then you're sending it, unboxing it, putting the plaster again and sending it the device to the end user. And when end users open the device, he just clicks username and password within 3 or 4 minutes, all the user level policies will be installed, because anyways, all the bigger applications and office applications and policies, everything was already previously installed by IT. 80% of the job he has done, only 20% you have to do, which is sign in, enter username and password, wait for a few minutes. Okay. So that is
Raj,
again, yes,
so currently companies using this pre-provisioning thing?
yes,
Okay.
they're using. And now there are no bugs also. No, it works flawlessly with Windows 11. Windows 7, lot of issues were there. With Windows 11, yeah, they are doing like anything.
So Raj, I mean, in the
So
pre-provisioning, we
you
can
see what is happening. Okay, one second, sorry to interrupt. You see what is the job of that person who has done it. He unboxes the device, connects to the internet, clicks continue. He sees the screen as green color, seals the button, unbox it. It's a pure logistic job. Okay, so that but they are doing it. Yes. Question.
Yeah, I was saying that like in the pre-provisioning, we can install only application that is deployed to all the device group.
Not all devices group. There is nothing like all device groups. There is something called all devices. That is a
All
group, default groups.
Okay, like and if it is deployed on some particular device group, then it cannot be done by the pre-provisioning.
It cannot be done because we don't know that device is there in that group or not. You can add
Okay.
the device and make it work. Yeah.
Okay.
So the device apps, as I said, right? Device apps, settings, policies, user apps can be installed, and the end user only gets user settings and policies. Okay, continue in English. This is what's happening. Continue in English. Yeah. So this is what the job of the person who does the pre-provisioning. He clicks on English, and this is what he sees. We have three things: install provisioning package, which is your ppkg file, and then which is your Windows Autopilot provisioning. Just click on here and just click on continue here. This is probably needed if you really want to find out or change this user or do anything. Okay, scan it. It'll give you the device ID. Okay, the serial number. There is a button called provision. Okay, click on provision. Okay, sorry, they're doing something. Okay, finished. Click on provision. You say now we can go. That's all is done. Click on provision. His job is done. Wait for till the screen appears as green color. Okay, I'll show how it looks. Okay, so now this is where it's happening, right? So in the Windows 11, I don't think so you'll see this account setup. It was like a thing that they missed out. The account setup just goes in a flash, chuck, it will come green color one. Okay. So now this is what happens. Device setup is done. Device, as you see, device targeted apps and settings are processed. Working on the setup. Okay, still working. As you can see now in the account setup, optionally user targeted apps can be processed if it is for all users. Okay, and now working on it, and now complete. This is what the screen that they see here. This is organization and deployment. Okay, that's all it is. There's a button called reseal. Okay, just click on the reseal. You're done. You know why they have this green color and red color? You know why they have this green color, red color? I have seen some images. Okay. Anyways, I couldn't find. Usually they have a big room with full of laptops in the classroom. Okay, from the behind we can see, okay, all are green, all are red. Okay, so the red color like this is a failure. Okay, green color like this is a pass. Okay, so whichever red color they see, they can go and troubleshoot or do something else. Okay, so that's all I have for today. So as I said, we'll complete the autopilot part and the probably the flow, the troubleshooting, and some of the logs the next time. And if you have any questions, just make a note and ask me. And we'll also try to finish co-management on Sunday, next Sunday. So that will take a break in the sense we'll stop Windows and get back to the iOS and Android part, and then come back to Windows profiles and configurations later. Sounds good?
So Raj, just one thing, like how we are going to be create pre-provisioning profile,
3 provisioning profiles.
like how it's work.
Question again?
See,
Can you repeat?
I want to know like where to start. Like you showed the process, how it's work and everything, but how we are going to be create a
Okay.
policy and all this thing.
Yeah, I thought of showing it next week
Okay.
because the entire configuration I have not even touched. I have not even talked
Okay.
about
Then
dynamic.
that's fine.
Dynamic groups. Okay, so the basically what you do in the deployment profiles itself, you
Mhm.
have an option to select. You go to
I think so. It
properties.
should be the mode only, right? User-driven mode.
Yeah, so deployment mode. Sorry, user-driven mode. Okay, but here if you come down, okay, so I'll show you a new profile. So it all depends on the Autopilot profile. Autopilot profile will tell you whether it is a hybrid AD join, whether it is a Azure AD join, or whether it is a pre-provisioned or a user. See here, it is a user-driven or self-deploying. As soon as I clicked on self-deploying, you see everything is grayed out. Self-deploying is kiosk. User-driven is there is a user in front of you. Okay. This is enter ID. This is hybrid ID. As soon as you enter hybrid ID, you see I get some other option there. Skip AD connectivity because it is enter join. And here allow pre-provisioned deployment. If I click yes here, that is what it becomes a kiosk mode. Sorry, white glove mode. So this is white glove. This is enter or hybrid, and this is kiosk or user. Kiosk is userless, and this is a user is there. So these are the 3 important things. Main important thing is here, user account type, standard instead of administrator. And rest everything is all. If you have proxy, you can show and then click enter. If you want to add operating system languages, besides the system default, you can add it. And yeah, you know the device naming template, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is
So
all.
what is Raj, what is the advantage for pre-provisioning?
What is the advantage of pre-provisioning?
Yeah.
You tell me. Anyone can explain. What is the advantage of pre-provisioning?
Yeah, so like you don't want your users to go through the steps and they just have
You
the
can,
device
you
ready,
still
just
go
have to
through the
log in
steps.
and the device is
Yeah, you
ready.
still go through the steps.
Yeah.
You don't want your user to spend time.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
configurations
exactly.
and
Because
application.
applications and configurations usually takes 35 to 40 minutes. So you do it in your office and send it to the user. So user will only spend 5 minutes time.
Raj, so can this pre-provisioning, like when we use hybrid join, so basically this pre-provisioning is not about the white glove we are doing, right? So we can just like I think so we can combine this 2 thing with the hybrid one, right? Only the benefit that we will get in hybrid join is
We'll see
of
next
that.
class. We'll see
Oh,
next class. We'll see. We'll see. We'll select the options and see what happens. Okay, Sankesh, okay, remind me that question next class.
yeah, sure, Raj. Thank you.
Okay. So hope this was helpful for today's. Anything taken or anything known, but fine. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day. Bye. Nice
Thank you,
weekday.
Raj. Bye.
Thank you, Raj.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.